Hello everyone, it's Shaderock, and welcome to Volume 7 of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. So, reminder of how last volume ended, because it's going to be very important. Link defeated Blizzetta and retrieved the first shard of the Mirror of Twilight, but from there started to worry Midna, to the point where she actually set off on her own. Link proceeded to head back to Castletown, fighting through hordes of monsters, including 2 old bosses, and fought Dark Link, going into the depths of insanity. The Master Sword has rejected him, and the Golden Wolf carried him away. This volume is the aftermath of that, and also covers some new content. We see some points of view we've never seen before in the game, and we get to start the second dungeon related to the Mirror of Twilight. So let's get started. So we start in... we start the mysterious scene of someone opening a door with Link laying in a pile of hay. Having nightmares back to what Xanth was telling him in the world of black insanity. Seeing Dark Link standing over his stabbed body, and as he looks through the open door, he sees Dark Link there. He is still dealing with... he's fighting himself at this moment. And as this is going on, he doesn't notice someone else actually walk in. He's still got many injuries from his fight with Dark Link, including a scar on the top of his head. The individual, a young girl, basically heats up a piece of metal and cauterizes the wound, telling him that it needs to be treated, otherwise the wound will fester, and he tells her it's harsh. And she just simply tells him, "Why would I waste my village's medicine on you?" As she leaves, Link is left alone with Dark Link, which is, it's basically just symbolic of him being left alone with his inner turmoil and thoughts, because that's what Dark Link represents. And it's just this aggressive side to him that's been forming ever since he got the Master Sword. And who just simply tells him, it's just, again, it's the dark thoughts that he's lost everything. It's over. And he just wallows in self-pity for calling himself weak. Eventually, the door opens again, and in walks a cloaked figure. And as it just stands there, Link talks about how he's completely lost control, and he's told that it cast him into darkness. That resentment is dangerous, and it comes through the slightest crack in your heart. Basically, he's being told, like, you received the Master Sword, but you weren't strong enough of heart yet to use that sword. And Link, we gotta remember, this has only been probably like a week for Link, and he's been dealing with test after test after test, the dungeons, monsters, becoming a wolf, removing the layers of Twilight. It has not been that long, and it's weighing on him. He wants out. But the cloaked figure just simply tells him, do not stop walking and become a true hero. And we get to see under the hood, and we see a blonde man with pointed ears. And the next page is actually him much older before he ages to the hero's shade, telling him that he walked the same path. Before handing him back the Master Sword, Link is actually now able to lift the blade after this conversation with the hero's shade. This is essentially a hero of the past, not even comforting the hero, but he's making him confront the shit that's making him weak, the doubt in his heart. Everything Link's been through, from pulling the sword, destroying his homeland, the realm of Twilight, all of it. He does just one out, but the hero's shade helps strengthen his resolve. And as Link looks up to thank him, he sees no longer the shade, but a golden wolf, and the door closes behind him. Link runs ahead to try to catch him. He wants to talk to him a little bit longer. He feels a connection to this wolf and this man. But upon opening the door, it's Midna. And she reveals that she never left him. She's been by his side ever since Blizzetta. He just couldn't see her. He was so blinded by the power of the Master Sword that he couldn't even see her. And we just get this really nice panel of them finally back together. And honestly, I cannot do this chapter justice, as this whole chapter has to do with Link confronting everything he's dealt with. And it's, from what I've seen in most of the manga I've read so far with The Legend of Zelda, it's the only time the hero has ever been rejected by the sword. And it's the time he is finally the first hero to question, why was he chosen by the gods? Why was he forced to go through all this? And he did lose himself heavily in the black insanity of Dark Link. But he's, thanks to the hero's shade, he's got that resolve again. He's reunited with Midna. And, well, he's got someone else to see now. After they have their embrace reuniting, Link tells her that he's good now, that he's ready to set out at any time. And he finds a shirt that was left there by the girl who was tending to him earlier. And he goes to thank her, but where he finds her is crouching in front of a completely filled graveyard, all alone. And Link just simply asks her what happened. And the only thing she can respond with is that she hates people with weapons. Before finally just breaking down. And Link says nothing. He says absolutely nothing to her breaking down and crying. And instead he just sits down and puts down the Master Sword. And he actually just comforts her, telling her that it's been hard. She's been here all alone for who knows how long. And he asks, and she shares her story that an incredible number of monsters poured up from the sky and from the ground. This village was hit hard by the forces of Ganondorf, both from the realm of Twilight and the resurrected undead. And Link reveals, just simply says to her that he's not here for the royal family. He's not here to protect the castle or anything like that. He is here to protect the people like her. And he tells her after this that just focusing on strength alone is the way a child thinks. And I would say that this is the moment for the Zelda Twilight Princess manga where Link is no longer just a hero of circumstance, but is instead, he finally becomes the hero of Twilight. He is not here for the royal family. He's not fighting in the name of the gods or for the gods or anything like that. He is fighting to protect the people. Those he knows and those he doesn't. He is just fighting to make sure no one else dies. And the girl reveals that she mended his clothes, the shield's been polished, and Link actually cuts off a piece of his hair, seals it in an envelope, and gives it to her, telling her, "This is all I have, but the villagers are sure to know it's from me," sending her to Ordon Village. The same place that took him in after he lost everything. And he hopes that they will do the same for her. Even sending a card, basically saying, "Hey, I sent her here, please take care of her." And he sets out with Midna, off to find the second shard of the Mirror of Twilight. So, after Link leaves, we actually cut to Zelda. And she's being told to awaken and is in pretty much the same spot we saw her in the game at the very end of everything, where Ganondorf's walking up to her and he actually brings her down and he's just having a cup of tea and talking to her. And he actually, he basically confirms what we already know. Like, I went to the castle of Hyrule with the king not suspecting that I was there to take over, but somehow you knew, you alerted the guards, you stopped me, and he brings up the fact that she won, like, that he won, but, she used the Ocarina of Time to turn back time 7 years to make it as if nothing happened. And peace returned to Hyrule. These are the events of Ocarina of Time. We alluded to it a little bit during the first, I think it was the first or second stream of Twilight Princess, that the events of Ocarina of Time happen, and then afterwards, for those who don't know the ending of Ocarina of Time, Zelda, regretful that she took away all of Link's childhood to instead make him a weapon to stop Ganondorf, turned back time so he could actually live as a child. And in response, she warned the king that, you know, Ganondorf's evil. So Ganondorf, who knew nothing, came for an audience with the king, and Zelda had him captured. Before he could do anything, he was executed. That was the Zelda of Ocarina of Time. There was peace, people's memory faded, and then the royal family gave birth to another girl named Zelda. So this is basically, they're repeating the cycle of Ocarina of Time because of the fact they tried to stop it. And because she sealed Ganondorf in the realm of Twilight. The way Zelda remembered all this was she found a book that was written by the Ocarina of Time Zelda, and it awakened her memories. Ganondorf, this is the Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time. He did not need that awakened. He remembers it all. He talks about how he became a spirit without a spirit body falling into the realm of Twilight, that he had nothing he could interact with, and instead he started using Zant to do his bidding. Even flat out saying that he's using Zant. As this is going on, we get some cuts to Link where he's climbing a mountain on his way to the next temple. And Ganondorf comments that Link has not fully awakened yet to his full potential. That he's still suffering hardships. And that if they were to fight right now, Ganondorf would win. But it wouldn't be satisfying to him, essentially. And we see Zelda looking at another man in a green tunic, but the clothes are different. The boots are different. The chainmail is missing. She's looking at the hero of the past. And Ganondorf brings up the fact that it seems you and the Lord Hero are always on good terms conspiring to defeat me. And that's a little unfair to him, that, you know, it's always 2 against 1. So he actually tries to convince her to come to his side. And Zelda makes her point pretty clear that no, that's not going to happen. You are an enemy of Hyrule. The need arises. I will not hesitate to take up the sword and fight. And Ganondorf says, "Excellent. That is precisely why I would like you as an ally." Meanwhile, Link finally makes it back to the Sacred Grove, and him and Midna don't know how to go forward. They go to the pedestal where Link drew the Master Sword, and almost as if the sword's telling him something, he puts the blade back in the stone. The statue disappears and the door opens, much like it did back in Twilight Princess, that allowed us to traverse into the past. Link walks through and he's like, okay, I don't know what to do now, but the pedestal's still here. I wonder what would happen if I put it in again. But before he could put in the sword, though, he hears something come running up behind him. He turns around and sees a child come running up. A child in a green tunic, who he watches draw the blade, and in a flash of light in front of him is another blonde-haired, pointy-eared man in a green tunic with the Master Sword. And next thing he knows, there's a shockwave. Link instinctively puts up his Hylian shield, but he is not affected. But the other hero has been pushed back. And they see a battle between a wizard clad in shadow, a hero in a green tunic with a fairy, both armed with the Master Sword. Now, obviously, these are the events of Ocarina of Time. One thing I would like to point out, because I've talked about this during Twilight Princess's live streams, but this is actually a really good spot to see it, where you could see the differences in their Hylian shields. This is really well done by the team, because of the fact that you actually see the individual differences between Hero of Time and Hero of Twilight. From the shields, like Twilight's shield's a little bit wider, it doesn't have the triangle at the bottom, where the Hero of Time's shield is a little bit thinner and has the triangle at the bottom, as well as having slightly different patterns, including not having the sword going through the top. I mentioned that their Hylian shields were different, so it's kind of nice to see that done. And Midna shouts for him to look up, and they see encased in crystal is Princess Zelda. They just continue watching the events of the end of Ocarina of Time unfold. And as this mist fades, where the Hero of Time once stood is now the Hero's Shade. Basically, this one goes flat out with confirmation. Like, the Hero Shade is the Hero of Time. We've talked about it multiple times. It's not a spoiler at this point. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that Hero's Shade is Hero of Time. But it's now dealing with the repercussions of a Hero of Time who remembers the events of Ocarina of Time, was sent back, prevented them, and had to live knowing they happened. And Link just simply says to him, I want to fight like you. I want to know how to fight sorcerers. I brought it up during Twilight Princess that all of the hidden skills were developed in a way to fight either Ganondorf or one of his magically charged minions. As Link is still just a normal flesh and blood person, especially this one, as he has no inherent magic. Zippy also tells him that I saw my predecessor fight with my own eyes, and nothing could bestow any more courage. And as he says this, Midna's only response is, the boy who struggled desperately as events swept him along is gone, that this is the true nature of a hero. And he takes up his blade with the Hero's Shade simply telling him, I will teach you all of my secret techniques. Which brings us to the end of Volume 7. Volume 7 ends with preparing to teach Link all of the hidden techniques, as Link has not learned any up to this point, I believe, except for Ending Blow. That is the only one he's learned, and it wasn't even taught to him because the Hero Shade didn't tell him he was learning it. He was just, do it, sink or swim, bitch. But now that it has been revealed that he is the Hero of Time, and that Ganondorf plans are in motion, that he's going to teach Link, that he failed to stop Ganondorf. He even tried to stop him back in the realm of Twilight, as the Golden Wolf was with Midna at the start of the story. That he's been waiting in the realm of Twilight for Ganondorf, but things didn't work out the way they wanted. So now, we get Link's training arc in Volume 8 of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. This is where things really start to pick. I'll be honest, I do love this story, but I do think everything with the Hero's Shade, Zelda, and the fact that it is a direct connection to the events of Ocarina of Time really add to the story. It really adds, like, the Hero's Shade wanting to finish what he could not, and it adds a little bit more of a complexity to Zelda with the fact that she remembers all the events of Ocarina of Time, and the guilt she feels for what the fuck she did to Link. But we'll talk more about that in later volumes. For now, though, that marks the end of Volume 7. We're almost through. As I've mentioned in the Twilight Princess live streams, now that the game has finished up and um I only have a few more chapters left, what we'll do is we're gonna, starting with volume 8, we're going to be having 2 manga videos go up a week. Just because of the fact I mentioned I did not expect things to go this fast with the game. But I will see you all next time.